Hi, Rahul.
Hi Srivasthan, how are you?
I'm good. So let's start. Maybe it'll be great just to know a little bit about your story leading up to becoming an entrepreneur. Like what were all the things that you did just before becoming an entrepreneur?
Let me start from my college. So I did my BTech from IIT Delhi in 2017. At that time, I was not sure where I want to go, and I landed up in a company called CDAC, where I worked as a ML engineer. I worked there for almost 2 years, and then I switched to another company, Talentica Software. So that company also worked with US startups in software development. So I got a very good exposure there. From that time, I started thinking I have to do something of my own. I have to have my own business. I have to have my own team. So I started my first company, which is in prop tech domain, that is Campizo. So I started that in 2020, and we ran that company for around 10 months. Me and my wife, who is also a co-founder in Onelab. So we both were technical people. We both did the coding, and we did not hire any external team for almost 6 months. We're completely focused on the product. We did all the coding, everything on our own, and we even acquired around 10K users on that platform in Campizo. But then it was getting challenging for us to achieve PMF. And since we have got good exposure in product development, so we thought let's start something where we can help other Indian startups in their product development requirements. So that's
Mhm.
when in 2021 we started One Lab. Initially, we started connecting with our friends and family. Do you have any idea which where you want to build a MVP? We got few of the clients from our network. That is how we started, and as of now, as of today, in last 3 years, we have built a team of more than 100 people. Focus also, we have shifted from India to US and Europe market.
So
Yeah.
are you like the incubation lab for any company with the first idea, you get the MVP up and running, or you support them throughout their life journey as well?
So we want to connect with startups at early stages, but we support them throughout their journey. So there are startups who already have customers, they have thousands of daily active users, and we are their tech team. They don't have in-house tech team. There are other sort of startups who are at their very early stage. They have idea and they want to validate their idea through a minimum viable product. So we can help them validate their idea.
Got it. You said you were clear that you wanted to be an entrepreneur just 3 years into your career after IIT, right? Did you have family background and have you seen some entrepreneurs growing up and that was your inspiration? Like, what made you feel like I want to be an entrepreneur?
I don't have any. My family is from agriculture background. You can tell like I would be my cousin brother is also engineer. I would be the second engineer in my family. So
Okay.
my father has even not been to college also. The motivation was always like I wanted to work with people. I wanted to help people. So that was there on top of my head always. So while I was in NSS in college, I wanted to have that where everybody looks up to you for their problem solving. That kind of a mindset started building since college only. It was there on top of my head that I have to do something of my own since college, but I was waiting for the right opportunity, right time when I should start that.
Is it also because you finished college at a time when startups had already been booming in India for the last few years? Was that an inspiration? The reason I'm asking this is because usually two kinds of people become entrepreneurs, right? One is you have a family background in business, which is how
Right.
I became an entrepreneur, for example. My
Okay.
father is also similar to your father. He had hardly had much formal education, but he started a business very early, and that was my inspiration in life. That run a business like my father. So that's
Uh-huh.
one category of people. The other category
Mm-hmm.
is obviously people who spent a few years in other startups or been in the startup ecosystem, and then they feel like, okay, I have been part of an early team. Now I want to build my own startup, etc. In your case, you said you were keen about startups right from your college days. So what was the trigger?
When you're in college, you have seen like people want to aspire for jobs, right? And then there are people who want to aspire for government exams. Then there is another category who want to have something of their own. So I was always fascinated by that. My real uncle, he was having his own startup, not a startup, that was like around 10 years back. He was into software development and he built his own product also around Hindi
Mhm.
languages. And so
Okay.
that was there somewhere in my head, like I have. So he was also kind of an inspiration for me, and I have to be something like him.
Makes sense. So
Yeah.
why did the prop tech startup not take off while One Lab has, obviously taken off quite successfully?
Right,
So
right.
just contrast these experiences, what do you think has gone right for one lab that did not go right for the other one?
So the reason is like it was our first startup for us. So we were also learning. Definitely, we have done a lot of mistakes. One of the biggest mistake is team building. So like I told, for 6 months, me and my wife, we were only working. We were not hired anybody else. We were not knowing when to go in the market. We were just focusing on product building. We have not acquired any customer for the first 6 months. We have built a very big product without validating what customer want.
Sorry to interrupt, but what was
Yeah.
that product trying to do?
So basically, that product was into, let's say, it was an app that we built, and let's say you can find flats and properties in your location on rent. So that is what it is about. And we have
Okay.
used some ML algorithms there, like on recommendation system. We have even rated properties. So those were the USPs that we have. The biggest learning that we got from there is like we have to validate our idea from the very beginning with the customers. So that is what has helped us a lot in One Lab.
Testing your idea with the customer quickly. Secondly, building a team. These were the two. I think the other interesting thing that you said was also that you quickly moved from serving only Indian customers to serving global customers. So
Right.
how did that transition happen? Was it a conscious choice, or did just one thing lead to another and you soon had global customers?
So when we started in 2021, we started focusing on Indian startups mainly because a lot of startups were coming up in India during the lockdown. One of the biggest challenge that we realized with Indian market is they are very price sensitive. So that started creating a lot of troubles for us. Finally, you have to make revenue and you have to build a team. You have to keep on growing, right? And they want to have a fixed cost approach. While we were working with Indian startups, most of the time we have to teach them that at early stage product has to be very agile. You cannot have a fixed set of feature in your mind and you cannot have a fixed scope for your product. It has to be agile. The engagement has to be T&M model. But Indians were in fixed cost, I mean price sensitive. So we thought like maybe this is not the right market. Maybe we should shift to US or Europe. So as of now, also we get Indian clients. We get some Indian clients and we support like around 10% clients, 10 to 20% clients that we have are Indians, but they are completely organic.
Got it. In the US and Europe, do you work with Indian founder-led companies, or these are like all kinds of companies with
All kinds of we work irrespective of from where the founders are.
and how did you, do the initial business development? Did you get referrals, or like for getting the first one or two clients must have been hard?
That is challenging. Yeah. Talking about my first customer, we got through our network. Definitely, when we started OneLab, we started reaching out to our friends like, we are into software development. Do you have any requirements? Right?
Right.
We can help you convert your idea into a product in 2 months. Do you have anything for us? That is when, like, after connecting with more than 10 friends, one of the friend recommended me. He has a friend who has requirement of a web application for marine industry. So that was the first client where myself did the coding part. I worked for like more than a month with them and we build some features for them.
Got it.
Yeah.
And then how did you get like the next two, three clients?
For next 2 3 clients we started partnering. So we thought like, okay, maybe network will not scale, right? We cannot have continuous flow of clients from there. So we thought let's partner with similar companies. There are companies in the size of 100 to 500 who have requirements but they don't have time to hire the talent. So we thought we have the talent, we have some talent, let's connect with such companies. So we started partnering and from there we got some clients. But in that case, we have to represent their company. Let's say I'm working for a X company, which is similar to us, but they are somewhat bigger in terms of employees, right? So we have to white label them and that's how we worked. There also we realized some challenges कि branding नहीं हो रहा है हमारा, हमारे बारे में कोई जान भी नहीं पा रहा है, तो उसका कोई फायदा नहीं है. So we thought let's now directly connect with startups, right?
And ये LinkedIn से किया आपने, या what was the way to reach out?
So what we have done is we have started setting up a R&D team. So we realized कि हमारे लिए काफी रिसर्च करना होगा कि किसको रीच आउट करना है, ऐसे हवा में किसी को भी हम कनेक्ट नहीं कर सकते. So we
Absolutely.
started, we have a R&D team where we figure out who are the startups who are at their early stage who may have tech development requirements. So that R&D teams builds the database and then we reach out on that data and pitch our services.
So where are you headed from here? What is your next 3 to 5 year, plan?
As of now, like in last 2 years itself, I would call, right? The first year was all like I was working, my wife was working, we were doing the hands on the coding part. So in the last 2 years, we went to a 100 people company. Now in the next 3 years, we want to be a 500 people company and we want to work with more and more startups. We want to have more and more success stories added in our portfolio. We want to serve more and more startups.
So one topic that Moin and I have, Moin is my co-founder. We have often, spoken to a lot of startups about is productization. That
Uh-huh.
is tech services companies. Once you kind of keep working on a few set of themes repeatedly, then
Mm-hmm.
you see the potential for productization. कि ये product बन सकता है. This can actually be made into a product. So
Correct.
have you, especially with your initial background in ML and so on, are you seeing
Mm-hmm.
the productization opportunity in the kind of work that you do?
We have done some internal process optimization internally for our own. We think like our business is very much scalable. We don't want to have our own product where we can give it to other customers, but internally we have multiple small products that we have created for internal process optimization. Hiring we have optimized. Usually
Hmm.
people take like more than a month in hiring. So we have set up our own process. We can get our talent in 1 week, 2 weeks we can get.
Oh, that's excellent. I want to know how you do that because I find it
And
difficult to close, any role within a month.
right. Then acquiring customers is another big challenge that we had initially. But as of now, we get around 40% of the clients that we get is from referrals. And for 60%, we have to reach out. But for that also, we have created a process. So internally, we have done a lot of optimization, a lot of small products that we have created.
What are the challenges of working with international businesses?
Definitely, there are challenges in working with international customers. We have the best talent in India. So, that is a very big edge that we have. If I talk about the challenges, the topmost challenge is acquiring initial customers because somebody from outside, they will not easily trust. So, that's
Hmm.
a very big challenge. And being a small company, it was very hard for us to have initial one or two customers for us. I mean, we have to work with them for initial 1 month to give them a confidence
Right.
that we have the best talent and we'll work with you for a longer period of time. A culture fit is another challenge, right? They have different culture, we have different cultures. We have a lot of leaves, like you are aware, right? But they don't have that many. They have leaves during December, during Christmas. So that is another thing. Then definitely time zone is a challenge, but we have some overlapping time with US, 3 to 4 hours overlapping time. So that is good enough for them for the meetings, and rest of the time we do the development work.
And how difficult was getting international payments in the beginning?
We have used PayPal actually. PayPal and Wise. Wise is the platform that we have used. When we used PayPal, was charging a lot of fee from us, so it was not transparent. Also, somewhere between 8 to 10% is what they were charging us. And then we shifted on to Wise. So in Wise, initially they were charging us very less, but somewhere they have increased their charges. I don't know exactly, but last year somewhere they revised their charges, and then they were charging around 7%. So these were the two platforms that we were using. I mean, before Skydo, everything is very smooth here, and the support is very good. And whenever I have something, I have somebody I can call, and I immediately get the support. So that is a very plus point. And definitely the charges are very minimum. There are flat charges. So that is very good.
Great. One last question about your team. So you said repeatedly you talked about the quality of talent. I think overall the quality of tech talent in India is good. Since talent is such an important part, I just wanted to hear from you your talent management approach. So where do you hire from? How do you groom employees? How do you keep them motivated? Because I'm sure that, in this industry, they also keep getting better offers all the time. Always there is a demand supply gap between tech talent and what the market requirement is. So how do you
Mhm.
hire and retain good employees?
So hiring, we have created a process. It's a 5-step process that we've created. We take 2 tests initially, and then 2 tech interviews and 1 HR interview is what we do. So we don't have any restriction. Definitely we hire from the top colleges. Top 100 Indian colleges is what we hire. Talking about retaining, definitely since they work with early stage startups, so that is a very big motivation for them. They would be building, they will be helping them build MVP. So that is a very big motivation. They get to work on the latest technologies, and they get to work on the product from ground up. So that is a very big motivation. On top of it, definitely we have fun Fridays, and we have these mentorship events that we have started.
Where is your development center based out of?
So we are based in Pune, and our team is working remotely.
Oh, fantastic. So how has
Yeah.
that worked out for you? Has it been a challenge or has it been a advantage in hiring good talent?
Advantage is definitely like a lot of people expect they want to work remotely. So we don't want to lose good talents. We have to keep this remote option. We are a talent company. And definitely like communication and those things are challenges, but we are trying to overcome them.
So my last question is, if you were to repeat this 4-year entrepreneurial journey again, anything you would do differently this time?
We'll start team building from day one itself, which we have not done in the first year, right? We hired few interns, and we could not realize the power of team building. So that is what like I would do differently. Yeah.
Now to close off, we have a few questions which are somewhat like a rapid fire.
Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, you can take a little bit of time, but what I want is your first thought on each of these questions. So as a founder, what scares you the most?
Nothing scares me.
Who's your role model
Azim Premji.
and why?
because of his charity thing.
Makes sense. So if you were not a founder, what else would you be?
I could be into coding or I could be into sales. So I have learned sales over last 3 years.
Got it. What is your single goal for this year?
Single goal is to be a 200 people company this year.
Any recent book or podcast that has influenced you a lot?
Not recently. I mean, I have read this lean startup book. So that is what influenced me a lot.
What's the most rewarding part of being a founder?
Most rewarding part is like everybody looks up to you for their problem solving. So that is what gives us satisfaction.
And one last question, which is not in the script. How is it, running a company together with your spouse?
So it's good. I mean, she's every time near me to help us out if any challenges or anything we face. So it's good actually.
Awesome. No, all the very best to you. And I hope you really scale up from 100 to 500 and 1000 as you wish to.
Right.
Best wishes for all these dreams to come true.
Thank you as well. And thank you for the amazing product that you have.